You're here. That means the signal reached you. You've tuned in at the quiet part of the hour. That's when the stories tend to speak up. You're listening to Murderous Tongues Radio, and I'm Nora Vale. Tonight's story begins the way most tragedies do, with permission. Just to the corner and back. It's the kind of sentence we say without thinking, the kind that feels too small to be dangerous. A short walk, a leash clipped on, a future that assumes it will be there when you return. But sometimes time breaks quietly. Sometimes it doesn't scream or shatter, it simply stops. Tonight you'll hear from something we rarely listen to. Not a witness, not an object, but a future that never got the chance to arrive. This is episode 20, To the Corner and Back.
I was supposed to be 11 by now. I was supposed to learn long division, scrape my knee, fall in love with a song on the radio. I had 1,000 small tomorrows waiting in line. But I only got as far as the leash stretching tight. And then the world ran out of me. They called that day an ordinary Sunday. The kind of day you never remember until something goes wrong inside it. The sky was clear. The air still carried a little morning chill, the kind that makes you grab a jacket you'll end up tying around your waist later. She was 9, I was 10, and 10 years and 10 birthdays ahead of her all at once. I lived in her mights and woulds and will be's. I knew the names of people she hadn't met yet. I knew the scar she'd get on her elbow at 12. I knew the bus route she would complain about in high school. I knew all of it, because I was all of it. Her mother stood at the sink, rinsing a mug. The dog whined by the door, nails ticking on the tile. "Just to the corner and back," her mother called, the same way she said it every time. "Just to the corner and back," the girl echoed, rolling her eyes like always, hooked by the familiar rhythm of permission. She clipped the leash onto the dog's collar. The metal made a bright, tiny sound. That sound was a promise to me. Another safe loop around the block, another day added to the stack. She opened the door. Sunlight reached in and laid a pale stripe on the rug. The dog pulled forward. She laughed. The door shut behind them. That is where my trouble begins. There is a way a future should move. It doesn't leap. It doesn't vanish. It slides, step by step, like a bead on a thread. Each moment clicks into the next. For 9 years, her life did that cleanly. A straight path. First steps, first day of school, first best friend. Every move she made laid down more of me. When she walked that morning, I stretched ahead of her without thinking. I knew the route. She would turn left at the mailbox with the dent in it. She would stop to let the dog sniff the same patch of grass by the fire hydrant. She would stand at the corner, look both ways like her mother taught her, then cross. I grew ahead of her. 11, 15, 26. A whole tree of days branching out from this small walk. At first, everything went as it always did. She waved to Mrs. Kenley, who was collecting recycling at the curb. "Good morning," the girl sang out. "Morning, sweetie," the woman replied. The dog tugged. The leash went taut. Her sneakers scuffed over faded hopscotch chalk. A bicycle bell rang somewhere behind them. The world was ordinary. I relaxed into what I knew. Then we reached the corner. She stopped. The dog sat, good and patient. She looked left. She looked right. A car passed. Another.
A gum wrapper lifted in the wind and pinned itself against the curb. Green light. Crosswalk. Safe. Except it didn't happen. Not that way. Not this time.
Because this was the morning a man who didn't belong here turned onto this street for the first time. The morning his schedule shifted, an errand moved, a call taken late, a shortcut chosen on a whim. This was the morning his life bumped into hers, and in that collision, I broke. You could call it chance. You could call it evil. To me, it felt like a hand reaching through the fabric of time to tear me in half. He pulled up near the curb. He smiled. He said something that made her turn her head. The dog barked once, high and uncertain. I won't tell you what he said. I won't tell you what he did. Those details live in a record no one ever wrote. I only tell you what it did to me. Because one moment I was wide and bright and endless, stretching all the way to her old age, a long-lived line. And the next moment I hit a cliff where there should have been a bridge. Right there, in the middle of the crosswalk, my path just ended. No more first crush, no more braces, no more teenage fights with her mother, no more reconciliations over late-night takeout. No more apartment full of thrift store furniture in her 20s. No more laughing with friends she hadn't met yet, on nights that now will never exist. The leash dropped. The dog's paws skittered on concrete. A car horn blared in the distance. Everything that came after for her body happened outside my map. I couldn't follow her into that car, that house, that room, that silence. I only exist in the roads she could have taken and never got to. So the moment she stepped out of my line, I froze. Movement became stillness. A river became a block of ice. The dog ran home without her, mud on his paws, foam at his mouth, leash trailing. And in the small, warm kitchen at the end of the block, her mother turned at the frantic scratching on the door. "Back so soon?" she murmured, drying her hands. She opened the door. The dog pushed in, wild, eyes rolling, chest heaving. No girl, no laughter, no scuffed sneakers. Just absence, stepping over the threshold first. The first ripple was disbelief. Her mother called her name down the hallway, then louder still. Room by room, door by door, heartbeat by heartbeat. Nothing. She walked the block once, then twice, then with neighbors, then with police. Her father left work early, tie crooked, voice thin with panic. I felt the alternate versions. The lunch break he should have taken. The silly story he could have brought home instead. But that day, he only brought home fear. Search parties formed. Flyers went up with a school photo where she still held all her tomorrows in her eyes. Strangers volunteered. Woods were combed. Ditches checked. Every backyard shed suddenly looked like a secret. Nights came and went. The first night, her mother slept on the couch in case the door opened. The second, she didn't sleep at all. The third, she stared into the dark until her eyes ached. Somewhere around the seventh, she realized time had split and she was standing on the wrong side of it. I watched the version where life stitched itself back together drift away. The one where the dog had simply dragged her too far, where a stranger found her by the pharmacy, where everyone cried with relief and carried on. In that world, I continued. In this one, I stopped. The flyers yellowed. Rain smeared their ink. Her school desk stayed empty. The principal spoke about safety and stranger danger, but none of the words mattered. "But where is she?" a boy asked. Because children care more about missing things than missing context. No one answered. Years passed. Grief hardened. Her parents moved houses, then moved back when the new walls felt wrong. Her mother kept a bag in the car, water, blanket, snacks, just in case. Her father got quieter. His laugh became a ghost of itself. He wrote the date wrong more often. Their marriage bent under the ache. Support groups, church, silence, talking, not talking. Some days lighter, most not. Birthdays hurt. The 9th, the 10th, the 11th that never came. Each number a ghost limb twitching. "She would have been 10 today," her mother whispered once. No candles, no cake, just a date circled on a calendar. I know the lives I was supposed to touch. A shy girl 2 streets over who never learned she was worth choosing. A boy who never heard her laugh at 16. A teacher who quit early because the stubborn girl in the second row never arrived. A stranger who died on a highway because she wasn't there to dial 911 at 28. That's what a stolen future does. It starves everyone who was meant to receive even a flicker of its light. And then there was him, the man responsible. A man with neighbors, with errands, with everyday small talk. Not monstrous on the surface, just rotten underneath. In my version, a camera or a traffic jam or a friend stops him early. In that world, he changes only his own fate. Here, he changed hers. The police came close. A knock on his door, a few polite questions. His hands steady, his heart a drumbeat of terror. They never returned. He moved through the years like everyone else, only not like anyone else, because I followed him. He lived in the space I should have. He worked. He fixed a faucet. He laughed at TV shows too loudly. He married. He avoided children. He avoided dogs. He avoided that street. But you can't run from someone you've erased. We stay in the spaces you carved out for us. He slept poorly, drank too much, flinched at every reminder. Shook in the yard while his wife asked what was happening to him. He almost said, "I used to be someone else." But he swallowed it. The town changed. Stores closed. New families moved in. Her porch light stayed on. The dog grew old and stiff. Every night, he limped to the door at the exact hour she used to return. Her father held his shaking paw at the vet. On the drive home, he had to pull over because he couldn't see through the blur. He whispered, "I'm sorry," without knowing who he meant. Time moved on without moving forward. Her case file shifted from shelf to shelf. A detective skimmed it once a year. The world forgot her in pieces. I felt those pieces slip from me. The town repaved the sidewalk at the corner where she vanished. The cracks she used to hop over disappeared under fresh concrete. Years later, another child learned to ride a bike over the place where my line ended. Life flowed over the spot where I stopped. The man who took her grew old. His wife died. His house grew silent. Game shows played to no one. And still I followed him. On the anniversary he claimed not to remember, he woke shaking. Dreams of a leash dragging across pavement. A dog's bark swallowed by distance. He drove without meaning to. His car knew the way. The corner. The crosswalk. My grave in plain sight. He parked and stared, the engine idling. He felt a pressure on his chest. He thought it was guilt. It wasn't. It was gravity. The weight of every day I never got to be. He put a hand on his chest as if he could shove me off. He couldn't. He crossed the street slowly, looking for her. He didn't see me, but I saw him. I always had. If you ask her mother now, she'll say she still feels her sometimes. Not in flickering lights or whispers, but in double takes at grocery stores. In the urge to buy two of something. In dreams where her daughter is always just a little older. On quiet nights, she stands in what used to be a bedroom, empty, repainted, repurposed, and hears faint echoes. A fan, a pencil, a backpack dropped on the floor. I don't know where you are, she whispers. She doesn't know I am right there, thick in the air around her. All the days she didn't get, swirling like dust in sunlight. I was supposed to be 11, and 13, and 19, and 42. I was supposed to argue about curfews, apply to colleges, name a baby, toast my father at his retirement party, teach my mother how to use her new phone. I was supposed to do 1,000 small things that would have carried them gently into old age. Instead, they have this: a photograph, a folded flyer, a calendar date that still stops their hearts. People believe justice is loud. Courtrooms, handcuffs, breaking news. Most justice is quieter. It's a man who can't sleep, a life that never fits again, a heart that waits for a child who never comes home. And me, the future that never lived and never fully died. I hover in the places she left behind. I hover in the corner where time split open. I hover in every life she was meant to touch. I'm unfinished. A story missing every chapter after page 9. A timeline that grew quiet too soon. If the world feels a little emptier in certain places, that's me. That's where I was supposed to be. But I wasn't. I couldn't be. All the days I was meant to live, they never happened. All the people I was meant to love, they never met me. And so my voice loops back on itself, searching for a place to land, searching for a world where I still exist. But I only have the truth I began with, the only truth time left me. I was supposed to be 11 by now.
Some futures end loudly. Others simply stop showing up. They leave their shoes by the door. They leave a light on. They leave a space that never learns how to close. If you're carrying this story with you now, that's all right. Some things aren't meant to be set down quickly. Somewhere tonight, a porch light is still burning. Somewhere, a calendar is still paused on the wrong date. And somewhere, a future is still waiting for a voice that never comes back. Thank you for listening. This has been Murderous Tongues Radio, and I'm Nora Vale. Next time, we'll follow a man who believes he's being chased, through rain that never seems to end, through cities that forget his name, through reflections that remember too much. He thinks he's running from someone, but some things don't run. They walk beside you, until you're ready to turn around. Join me for episode 21, The Last Mile. Good night.